Community Blaze podcast, welcome. So today we'll be talking about his Malaga tour and the roundup from that. So we have Finley Musson in the room. 2 years that you've been to Malaga now.
Yeah.
So we'll be talking to him, and then obviously James Dawes, who's basically ran it for us the last 2 years and had all these opportunities that's come up and life's experiences, all down to James Dawes. So yeah, we'll kick it off. So you want to introduce yourself, Dawes?
Yeah, so my name's James Dawes. I'm from Sheffield originally, so I grew up playing here, throughout my formative years. Got real affiliation obviously to this program and the foundation through, being ex-teammates with Spow, and we enjoyed some of the most successful years, at least in my career. I'm not sure if you had many more after at Answorth and coming through the ranks there. I was fortunate enough, things didn't materialise. I was always pursuing, a full-time professional career, and had a few looks at the likes of Sheffield Wednesday, Sheffield United, Scunthorpe and a few others, but nothing worked out for me. So at sort of 18 years old, found myself on a plane to San Jose, California, which I felt was a bit of an upgrade from my current situation. I was very fortunate to get offered an opportunity to go over there and play collegiate soccer over there, as they call it. Fast forward 4 years, went on to play in Spain and also started my working career more so on the professional side in terms of recruitment and whatnot. But I've always had strong links to Sheffield. Never really obviously stayed in contact with everybody, and got a real affiliation in terms of trying to help players from this area, because I feel like coming up and growing up, it's a big wide world out there, and I think we can forget that sometimes. So, being able to offer things like the tour, I know Finn's been over for 2 years now, and obviously yourself, so being able to open that door to people from obviously my hometown and home city is, that's what I've kind of transitioned into. So that's a little bit of a microwave version of my story,
Yeah, and we'll talk a bit about a bits that coming up. So just to strip it down, so coming on 12 years, we've probably known each other now. So under 16, 17s, do you just want to talk about that little side and what happened and why you did come over and what happened that year, really?
Yeah, I think, like I said, I was, at a club pretty much, up until U15, 16s, story, very familiar to a lot, played under my dad and as a coach of my local team. Didn't really push the boat out. I felt like I was really comfortable and so on, but, again, was fortunate to get looks at the likes of, I remember going on trial at Scunthorpe at sort of U13s, 14s, and a spell at Doncaster Rovers, a short spell. And again, for me, it was always about like looking at what's the highest possible level that I can play at. And once you start being steered away, I mean, I'm not the biggest guy now, but back then I was tiny, and I was very realistic as well. Professional football was moving further and further away as I was getting older. So you start looking to the semi-professional team scene, and fortunately we joined at a time where so many, I look back at that team now, myself, you, I could go through the old team here, so I've got to be careful who I name and who I don't. But so many good boys, and we came in at a time where I think, the club was obviously on a high. They've got a track record of producing, obviously, talented players. And we went on to have sort of 3 years a sort of dominance, winning league titles, progressing to the 19s. I remember myself and you as sort of young 16, 17-year-olds were breaking into the kind of Northern Premier League teams. Playing with the likes of Alan Quinn, if you remember that.
That's on my CV.
Yeah.
One of my heroes.
Absolutely. And I think football at that age as well is very much about enjoying it, but putting yourself in a position to open yourself up to opportunities. I look at Finn now, and a lot of these boys sort of dipping their toe in men's football. For us, I look back and it was a perfect environment, because you had so many older heads there that were like ready to guide us through. And you are, aren't you, naive to the world of non-league football and everything like that. So that period was really enjoyable, and again, lifelong friends along the way that we've managed to stay in touch. And yeah,
no, spot on. And then your American experience, so there'll be a lot of students that we have on our course that are wanting to go and dip the bread over there, but don't know much about it or enough about it, or can't get in touch with people. So firstly, how did you first find out about it? Why did you pick California? what were it like over there for 4 years, away from family, away from friends, and a new start really?
Yeah, I mean, you're looking back the best part of sort of 10 years now. It's crazy to say that as well when I first started that journey, and I think I'd always wanted to kind of breach out and explore a little bit, and for me, I'd always had a really grounded background from my parents and the people around me, knowing like the importance of education, and how quickly sort of a career can end or change. And having been turned away at all these clubs, you start looking and saying, am I better off looking at sort of a professional route? I knew I wanted to be involved in football, but what did that look like? It didn't necessarily have to be from a playing standpoint. So for me, America was that next progression. I look at what I've learnt since now and the opportunities that are available to young people, not just in the US, but all over Europe. And I think, again, that's something that I'm sure we'll go into, that I'm really passionate about, opening those doors. But for me, it was just a chance to, fresh start, get yourself in a new environment and see what the possibilities could be. So I think at first, to everybody, I mean, I tell people about that story about living in, San Jose, California, which on paper is potentially one of the top places to live in the world. But for me, it was 2 of the hardest years of my life in terms of that transition, being away from home, maybe lacking the maturity that I needed, missed birthdays, social events. You come further and further away from friends that, you've grown up with, and seeing them go different paths. And so, for me, again, on paper, you see social media and how, painting this positive image, but it's not always reflective of the true story. But through all those kind of trials and tribulations, don't get me wrong, it wasn't all bad. Playing football every single day and, in a beautiful place where it's, sun shining most days. But it taught me a lot about myself, and I think that's one of the best experiences that, we spoke with Finn quite a lot when we were over in Spain and some of the other boys. It's just, again, dipping your toe in the water, seeing what's out there, and putting yourself in uncomfortable situations to see how much how much you can grow.
Yeah. It's something that you'd think about, Finn, after you leave college. Would you like to go and play abroad?
Well, yeah, I've been looking at America, Malaga, and a few other things as well. Yeah,
something that you'd like to go and experience, and no, good.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about that little later on. So and then Malaga comes across. So after your 4 years at America, just before that, I know it's obviously Jonesy went across to America. So we thought at the time, them two going to America, how good's that? We'll be able to meet up. You don't realise how big America is, how far you're away from him. Yeah,
and I bet you if you'd had asked before we both went out there, because Jones is a very family orientated person and so on. If you'd had asked, they would probably said that I would still be the one out there and he'd be back. But yeah, he's married now and created an amazing life for himself. So I remember getting I went over there with a little bit of an arrogant approach because you're a British player, and I think everybody's a lot more educated now, but especially going over at that time frame, it's like I've been around the academy scene. I broke into semi-professional football at a young age. I'm going to go over there and kind of take over and get drafted and live happily ever after. And what you quickly find out is there's a lot of good players out there and in that system. And when it came into my latter days, I talked about this recently on my social media. I remember being really anxious coming to the end of my 4 years because it's like, what's next? I knew I wanted to carry on playing and progress within the world of football, but there was no one knocking at my door and offering me a contract, and no one, chasing me down with this opportunity. And so it forced me to network, to get out there and see what was possible. And fortunately, I landed on my feet with the opportunity in Malaga, where initially I went out there to play for the first team, who were playing at a very good standard out there in Spain. Now, another thing that, again, I always educate young players on is that I'm 5'6". I'm a shorter, more technical player. On the non-league scene, I didn't see a great future there because, I was used to getting kicked up in the air. I mean, I'm 27 now and I'm playing non-league and I still get kicked up in the air today. But putting myself in that new environment, like the new style of play, it suited me down to the ground, and so I was able to excel. And also, again, keeping that idea about education and improving yourself, bettering yourself. I also dip my toe in the recruitment field as well. So they have a international academy that has, around 140, 160 athletes there per year. So started finding a real, sort of interest in helping, provide opportunities for players coming over there. And that's how it started, sort of spiralling from there, more responsibility, and worked myself into a position where I was, one of the senior figures at the club, as well as playing full time as well.
Yeah. No, brilliant. So come on to you now, Finn. So you've had 2 years now in Malaga.
Yeah, I have.
What's your best experience, and why did you want to go over in the first place?
Just to experience a laugh with lads and play football against different type of players, different ways how to play football, and it's international as well.
And what have you found both of the games? So the first game that you were involved in were Noah's side, when they were the last minute winner, weren't it? You were involved in that.
3-2 last minute.
Yeah, and then so you got 100% record.
Yeah, and then won.
Even I ain't got that.
Won this year as well.
Yeah, so you want to go through bits about this year, what happened, and best parts of the game, the build up to the game, and
Monday. What did we do Monday?
Yeah, Tuesday.
Oh, it was Tuesday, wasn't it?
Yeah.
We went round Granada. Went to this, like a church, I think, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Nice little church, nice little views, a lot of people there, very busy. And then we travelled to the game, which, nice pitch, very hard as well. Yeah, went for a walk around pitch, had a look at pitch, had a quick warm up.
Sprinklers. Can't believe that, mate.
I know, it was
on Ashford
nice.
as well. Yeah.
What happened with it, or why do you think that helped us? But sprinklers coming on, what
just cooling us down, I think, because if we got too warm up, we'd have been knackered.
And what about pitch wise?
It was a nice pitch.
Yeah, like skiddy, weren't it? After that, weren't it sticky? That if you were in England playing it somewhere in our Ashford, ball don't come on as much, does it?
So it gets hot as well. So
I think we've got to say as well, like from my standpoint, obviously you work with these boys day in day out, but I look at a boy like Finn that last year I saw playing in arguably I don't want to say the lesser game of the two, and this year he's playing in kind of the first team against, and we stepped it up this year as well. Based off our conversations and how the boys did last year, we wanted to put him against stiff opposition, and we did that in Aladdin. And I thought this young man next to me showed really well, and it's the difference in styles that makes it, because these guys ran themselves into the ground. I think sort of physically outplayed Aladdin in a lot of cases, but will
you just explain to viewers as well about Aladdin and the youth system in Spain?
Absolutely, yeah. So how it works, obviously here in the UK you have a very tiered system based upon age, right? So you'll have a U19 category, 18, 17s all the way down. The way it works in Spain, once you go past U16, is they have a tiered system A, B and C. So everybody are really familiar with the Real Madrid Bs and the Barcelona Bs and so on, but that exists at the youth level as well. So what will happen in their system is obviously the older lads will tend to, I'm talking at the youth category, the sort of 17, 19-year-old lads will be in the top age group, so you want to call it the A team. The B team will be made up predominantly at the 16s and 17s, so it does work by age, but also it's not limited by that. So you might have a really good player that's 15, 16 that's playing in the first team because he's got a real good chance of being sort of a prodigy or so on. Now the other thing that's really interesting is that some of the youth teams, so take Aladdin for example, their senior team plays at a really good, a good level of semi-professional football, but they're by no means a professional team. But their youth team plays in the highest category of youth football. So their U19A side play in the same league as Malaga, Sevilla, Granada, Real Betis, all the teams that you see in La Liga. So it's the equivalent of, for example, a Handsworth here playing against Sheffield United, Sheffield Wednesday, Notts Forest, all of the above. And so when we set out on that game schedule, I remember, on a conversation with yourself after that first trip, we want to test these boys, and I think they went out and put on a show. And I don't think these boys quite understand, getting a result against the B team, which, again, is a lot of those boys are going to go on to play in those games that I've just mentioned there. Is no, so it can't be, misunderstood. That's a really good result away from home,
I don't think they realise that end of game as well, because obviously we used to winning games here at a standard in National Football Youth League, but to go and turn them on their own patch, and they're a really good side, how they knocked it about and how we frustrated them. And why do you think that is, Finn? Why do you think we got edge over them?
We were just stronger. We were more aggressive. Yeah. We wanted it more as well.
Yeah. And like you just said, the different types of styles when you're over there, I think that come to play a little bit. So like Dawes just said, so you were in Noah's side last year.
Yeah.
You've been my side this year for tour.
Yeah.
You've had a full year with me this year. How have you improved as a player? So what did you do in pre-season from last year to catch my eye a little bit? Why have I put you in? What's happened?
Well, my fitness last year wasn't the best and I wasn't the strongest. So this year I've just done a lot of running, been to the gym a few times, and that's what I've done.
Yeah.
I've just been on the Astro on my own, just working footwork, shooting, and it's improved massively. And it's showing. I'm in your team now.
Yeah. It probably has shown that little bit of commitment that you needed, where it's going to get you. And like you got another year next year with me.
Yeah.
So it's just exciting that you've where you've come in this last 10 months. What you're going to be in like in next 18 months. and I think that just shows really your character. Because you've had other studies around that as well, maths and English. You're still doing obviously a college course here, so it's not like you're not doing anything. You've gone out your own way and it's going and doing that morning, isn't it? Are your morning runs?
Yeah.
Get up at morning always, so no credit to you, man.
I think with that as well, like your Malaga trip that we've scheduled for the last 2 years is like your benchmark, because I think that's where next year 2 wins in 2 years. Next year I think we've really got to push the boat out and get, a professional academy side there to kind of set the bar. And for you, I think, to be able to test yourself and see where you are, I think sometimes you need that reality check that, listen, like I play, day to day at college, I'm playing national football, youth league, really good standard, and I think lads don't realise the gap between that and kind of the pro level is it's details, and it's 1% and so on. So when you get an opportunity to play against good sides, you'll see that you're not far off. And in terms of that severity, taking it seriously and so on, I think obviously that's what we, next year we're going into it thinking that we want to put you up against a really good side, so that let's see where you are at that point, and how you do.
Yeah, and me and Dawes already spoke about next year already booking on, and we want to take an elite side out there. So we want to take a group of 16 to 18 lads, and be football focused. So train twice a week. When we're out there, 2 gym sessions, maybe a tournament on cards against some English sides and Spanish sides out there. So like we've done it for 2 years now, but don't think we're gonna stop there and book lies there. We want to improve it every year going, don't we? So and keep changing things.
Yeah, I think the beauty of these things is obviously the relationship that we've got is that it's customisable. And again, speaking about the strength of the program, I think with Finley, I don't want to get his head too big while he's sat next to me. But the biggest difference for me this year was like the threat going forward as well.
Yeah.
And I think your side that you brought out was stronger this year than it was. No disrespect to the lads last year, they put up a really good showing and got a good result. But I think even so, you look at this programme going from strength to strength, and we'll look to adjust with that, and keep bringing the best competition.
No, brilliant. And then just a final thing on that, what's your best bit?
Scoring.
Yeah?
Yeah, scoring.
Very good.
We should have a replay coming up on the screen.
We'll get that clipped in.
Great ball, chance. Yeah! Sorry. Brilliant header.
He's watched it 27 times.
So just going back to you, Dozy, so obviously we spoke about as young years growing up together, what you did in America, what you've done in Malaga. So what about now? So what's changed now, and what you got your teeth stuck into?
Yeah, so I mean, there's a few different things that we're kind of working on, but it's all revolving around ultimately players and trying to help them with their careers. I feel like us coming through again, look at those boys that we played with in our teams. How many of us got opportunities to go to Malaga and play internationally? And I've seen a bigger world in terms of football and the football landscape. And I think if more players push the boat out there and add connections and network in order to make those chances and opportunities a reality, then you'd see more players go in to play, maybe not at the highest levels of professional football, but also make a career out of it. And so a lot of my driving force now is looking at that and saying, how can I sort of bridge that gap between players, maybe like a Finn or somebody that's got ability but just never really had that foot in the door or that opportunity to create those chances. And it's something that's really rewarding for me, because again, it's all fueled from the fact that I feel when I was coming through as a young player, those doors weren't open for me, and this was kind of non-existent. And these boys are fortunate to grow up and sort of peak at 16, 17, 18 years old with a lot more opportunities than we had. But again, you need people that keep pushing the boat out and people that care about them to keep pushing them on to bigger and better things. And so that's my primary focus at the minute, is just making players aware of that. And there's a lot of these lads that are in my ear about Malaga and trying to get out there and so on. But listen, we're working on a few things, and hopefully we'll keep on developing that to see opportunities like that come to fruition.
Yes, we spoke about it a few times. Like we're non-league when we first came through at 17. So these lads coming now through at 17, a lot's changed in non-league, and a big thing have been about money, opportunities, managers not always trusted in youth. So coming out, so we've tried it at college. So we've gone to a men's side at County Senior League. So when they come out of college, they got men's football there straight away. But then that bridge between County Senior and North East County Prem is another big step. When we got opportunity at 17, 18, the lads probably aren't getting opportunity till 21, 22 now to go and get that chance. So like you just said, you can't just fall out of football or wait 2 or 3 years to get that. There needs to be something, doesn't there?
There is, and it's like you're doing all this great work in terms of the foundation. These boys come on sort of so much in that period of time. Again, reference Finn as a key example of that, and having seen that firsthand. But you look at that next period of your life, that 18 to 23, for me, I go on about it all the time. I think that's where so much development happens, and I think you go back to the American route, I think that's why it is a fantastic opportunity, is because these lads need that experience, that game time, but they need someone to take a chance on them, and the money that's in non-league now, and like you said, the lack of kind of trust maybe in young players, it's tough. It's a dog-eat-dog world, and so we've just got to keep, I feel that you guys do a great job as a programme, and it's also something you just got to try and keep pushing and providing opportunities for these boys.
Yeah, because we're not sat here blaming managers, we're not blaming youth. At the end of the day, they've got to go to board members and say, why are you not winning games of football? You've got to go and pick your best side, and sometimes they are, isn't it, playing youth players. So we'll try our best. Obviously, you've got plans coming up in future months and years to try and bridge that gap. So, and just on that, plans for the future.
Yeah, I mean, for me, again, it's tough because I've just made the transition back from Spain, where I was living full time, to here in the UK.
I can't believe it.
Yeah, I know, but fortunately, I do get the chance to travel quite a lot. I think for me, it's working in football is what I want to do for the rest of my life. Again, here in Sheffield, we're starting something and a project that I feel is going to be able to help domestic players, international players, and shine a big spotlight on the city. I don't think we can get away from the fact that this is a fantastic area to, a talent and a good level of, football all round, from your senior teams all the way through to the youth. And so for me, it's looking to bridge all those experiences I have, whether it's the US, Spain. We've been doing some work in other parts of the world as well to create those opportunities for players. And it's kind of just to bring that all together.
Oh, brilliant. Round up at football. Good result on Wednesday.
4-1 win Wednesday.
Against Sheffield Wednesday. So where's that put us now?
It's put us second in league. Is it 4 points?
Yeah, that's right.
4 points, yeah. So
4 games left.
We have 2 games in hand. So
that's right, yeah. 4 games left. Farsley Celtic, Wednesday. 2 games on Wednesday and next Friday. UFCA. And then Middlesbrough. Yeah. So Middlesbrough currently top at league. So if we win 3 games, the next 3 games we're a point above Middlesbrough. We've got to play it last game of the season. How do you think that's going to plan out?
I think we'll win.
So we're needing to go there and get a point. Yeah. We're not drawn all season, have we?
No. So
tough game. Bit of travelling.
Well, we won 6. What score it last time we played?
Yeah, 6 out.
6 out.
Yeah.
Hopefully we can do that again.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. So a big couple of weeks coming up. Obviously next Wednesday, Varsity as well.
Hillsborough.
Yeah. So looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll see what, obviously, in mornings and everything, we'll have a game. So our National Football League team will have a game through that. But everyone else in Foundation will be playing table tennis, basketball, rounders, all trying to get points for either Sheffield United or Sheffield Wednesday to win. And then hopefully it comes to the girls' game at Hillsborough and the men's game at Hillsborough to go and put that right, and the big trophy at the end of it as well, bragging rights.
I just want to say on that as well, I think it's a fantastic initiative as well. At university level they've been doing it for a while, but I think for you boys, what an experience that's going to be, because there'll be something on the line as well, when it comes into it. I know how competitive you lads are, so I think I'll try and be at that one if I can.
Yeah, I don't think they realise, our students, how big it actually is, because obviously they haven't been to university yet to experience it. So I think after this year they'll realise it's quite a big event, and come next year when it's at Bramall Lane, and then parents can get involved next year as well. They can come along, and we're going to sort all that. 'Cause it's quite a quick turnaround. So we only planned it 2 months ago. So it's getting bigger.
And fair play to both foundations for making it happen. Because I think sometimes there's the hesitation to kind of work together, especially when you're geographically located so close. But I think even that, just getting the feel of playing on a stadium pitch. I remember playing at Bramall Lane with. We played with the turf, and it's something special, mate. So hopefully you get used to it. It's not the last time you're playing on a pitch like that.
Yeah, creating more memories. So, what else to add about Málaga? Doing next year?
Yeah.
What can we expect? What's the goals next year for the trip? 2 goals next year?
I want that trick.
Brilliant.
Fantastic.
So that's the end of this podcast. So please like, share. We're on Spotify, we're on Apple Podcasts, and if you want to watch us, we're on YouTube as well. So, but thanks for coming on, Dawes. I know you've got a busy schedule.
Cheers.
Flying in between Malaga and sunny Sheffield. But I appreciate coming on, and obviously Finn coming from maths. You've got to go back to English now.
Yeah.
I won't be late.
I'm not going to be.
And that's all. Thank you.
Cheers, mate.
That'll do us, won't it?
How long was that in total?
24 minutes.